Right, hello there everyone, welcome back to James Redmond TV and welcome to another match preview after Manchester United. Well, it's a match preview about the Manchester United game after Manchester United lose to Leicester, basically hindering our top four chances. I'm getting DMs from Manchester United fans actually celebrating a loss. They're celebrating a loss because it hinders our top four hopes. Bear in mind, Manchester City, their neighbours, their derby, is now the champions again. But it's a celebration. It's a celebration because we might not get top four, even though it's actually still possible. And we're playing them on Thursday. And if we win that game, that contributes to us maybe getting top four. It's just, I don't know, like, I know that we've had a poor season and we're sixth and all that, but it really does show how the mighty have fallen, doesn't it? But we'll talk about that more in a bit. We're going to talk about the preview and whatnot. Before we do, I just want to introduce to you, if you haven't been introduced already, to the Liverpool app. Now, if you saw my video on Friday, or in fact, if you saw my preview on Friday for the Southampton game, you would have saw I introduced this app to you all. It's basically an app where you and your friends can all come together, put a little bit of money in the jackpot. It's basically betting, but with mates. You can put about £10 in each, and then the winner, and whoever gets the most predictions right of the weekend game, then you will get basically the winning prize. You'll take home all the money. But again, it's with your mates though. It makes it more fun and a little bit more competitive. This weekend has been a very fun weekend on the Liverpool app. Now, I can simply sit here and just say this is a promotion and whatnot. Very, very true. But I also need to say it's actually a very fun game. One that I'm actually going to be looking on using pretty much outside of when they decide to sponsor these videos. Now, I do want to thank LeBon for it, but I really would recommend, if you want to spice up your Premier League weekends with you and your friends, caring about games like I was caring about Fulham and Burnley. I never care about Fulham and Burnley. But this weekend, I cared about Fulham and Burnley, and it was because there was the deciding game. Me and Lee Chappie were basically in a title race. He edged it on the last game of the season, or the weekend, should I say, and he ended up taking home the Mula. But it was good fun. It was good. It was good to participate in it as well, and I'm very much looking forward to next week. So make sure you go and download that. Link is in the description. Very good app, and also a good laugh, good crack with your mates. So there it is. Go download that, and thank you to LeBon for sponsoring this video, yeah? Right, now let's get into, like I said, what I was going to talk about. So Manchester United lose to Leicester City, which puts Leicester City, I believe, it might be 6 points, but it also might be 9 points above us in the league table, but we will have 2 games in hand. So we'll play Manchester United on Thursday, and then we'll still have a game in hand over Leicester. We need to win that game over United to close that gap to 6, or it might be 3, and then we need to win that other game in hand to be able to close it down. In fact, right now, I'm pretty confident in saying it's 9 points clear, or they're 9 points above us, so we really do need to win them games in hand, and we need to basically do everything we can to go down the end of this season basically fighting, because that's what we need to do. We've been battered, and now it's that moment where it's like Tyson Fury against friggin' Deontay Wilder, where he gets up in the 12th, or was it the 11th round? The 11th or the 12th round? Gets up and basically kicks his ass for the rest of the fight. And you know what, mate? That's what Liverpool need to now do. We need to show that ferociousness, that if we are going to be competing in Europa League next season, let's at least go into next season with a good bit of momentum, a good few wins, a bit of confidence. And you can never underestimate a good end to the season. Look what happened with Leicester a few years ago. Look what happened with West Ham last season. Overall, not a very good year, but because they stayed up and they got that momentum built towards the end of the year, it carried over into the next season. So a good run to the end of this season cannot be undermined for Liverpool, especially if we don't go out and buy players. We need these players to be confident, so we need to be winning games. And the United game is, you know, you can talk about what's the biggest game of the season. The last biggest game of the season for me was the Real Madrid game. You know, because as the season goes by, I feel like games, they get bigger. And that game for me, the Real Madrid quarter-final, that was the biggest game of the season. And no game since has felt close to the magnitude of what that game was. A Champions League quarter-final. And when we got knocked out of that, there's not really much more excitement in this season for me. Top 4 doesn't excite me. I just want top 4. So I can look forward to the Champions League next year. If we get top 4, I'm not happy that we got to 4th. I'm not happy we got 3rd. And I'm not happy we got 2nd. I'm only happy if we get top 4 by finishing 1st. The only reason and the only thing I'm excited about is the Champions League that the top 4 offers. So when you look at our case now, it's very unlikely we're going to get top 4. We need a lot to go for us, as well as actually win games ourselves, by the way. So when we're relying on all these things, it means it's most likely not going to happen. However, I'm happy if we go down fighting. I'm happy if because we can win the Europa League. You know, and you know, even a good competition run, you don't care about the Europa League until you maybe get about to the quarterfinals, semi-finals. I've also heard that it's around the round of 32 out of the Europa League will now be scrapped because the Conference League or whatever it is. So when you actually put that into context as well, that's got to be something that you take into it. You know what I mean? I'm looking forward to see how Liverpool do next year. I'm not happy with getting Europa League. I'm not happy that one. But at the same time, imagine if we just did get top four. I don't think we will, but just imagine if we did. And it's teams like Leicester, it's teams like Chelsea that have kept this an open possibility. Chelsea for their earlier form, Leicester for their later form. It's a weird thing, even though we lost 6 home games in a row and all this, that and the other. But let me know in the comments down below. Will Liverpool get top four? Especially after Leicester winning today. United obviously put out a weakened side as well, and people will be like, oh, they only done that for Liverpool not to get it. No, they rested it so they could, they got a game in 2 days. And I think it's just one of them where I don't think they really cared about where we are. Do you really think Ole Gunnar Solskjaer cares if we get top four or not? Maybe deep down, but he's going to focus on his team first. And I don't know why he went with that lineup, but it is what it is. City win the league. Well done to City fans. And let me know in the comments down below, will Liverpool get top four? No matter who you support. But anyway, let's get into the Man United preview. Now, what am I worried about when it comes to this game? Even though they've just lost to Leicester City, it weren't really them, though, was it? They never started most of their first team players. They never started Pogba. They never started Fernandes. The only real first teamers who aren't actually really first teamers that started was like Donny van der Beek, Mason Greenwood. These type of players who, yes, can make an impact, but even Alex Telles, good player, but he's not a first teamer for United. It shows they've got sound squad depth. That being said, they got played off the park today, even though it was only 2-1 and they got a goal. Fair play to Mason Greenwood, who's in some fire and form. It's still one of them things where you can't actually ignore the fact that they've got a completely different team coming up against us. Do you get what? Yes, they've just lost to a Leicester who lost to Newcastle 4-1, but they've also got a different team approaching us. They've got Cavani who's firing in form. If Greenwood plays, I'm concerned, because Greenwood is on fire right now, and obviously he always causes Liverpool a few problems, so that's another player we need to watch out for. Bruno Fernandes, another player we need to watch out for. Luke Shaw, probably the best left back in the league this season in most people's eyes. So I think there's a lot to worry about. And here's another thing. Regardless what you think about Ole Gunnar Solskjaer, regardless what you think about United, the number one thing that you have to take into consideration, and you can't ignore, they're hard to beat. They're literally, they're a very hard team to beat. It's one, even if you're 1-0 up, you're not safe. You're not safe. They've got the quality in that team to just, it's like false hope. Do you know what I mean? They know what's going to happen and you don't. You're watching a film together. They know what's going to happen. They know the scary bits that are coming up, but you're going to be there shitting yourself because you don't know. That's what Man United have been this season, and whether I like them or I don't, I've got to admire that. I've got to admire that factor, that ability to be able to come back into the games. But hopefully Liverpool can just go, no, fuck that, you're United, we're Liverpool, we are the Premier League champ. Well, we're not actually. We're not even the Premier League champions no more. I was going to say, till it's actually confirmed, we're still the champion, but we're not though. Oh, my camera's fell, my camera's feeling how I'm feeling, just wants to fall to gracefulness anyway, I'm fuming. Right, line up prediction because I'm sick. I'm talking about how United are better than us. So, let's start with goalkeeper. You've got to go with Alisson, don't you? No too shiny shite about it. You've got to go with Robertson as well, left back. No too shiny shite about it. You've got to go with Trent Alexander-Arnold, right back. You've got to go with... but Kabak isn't fit for this game, is he? So who do you go with? Centre-backs, do you go with Fabinho? Because Ben Davies isn't available from my knowledge. Just not available. I don't know where he is. Ben Davies, if you're watching this, my fucking G. Got to live a life that all of us wish to live. Got to go to the stadium. Got to have that presentation. But he is a hologram, isn't he? No. Who are we going to play centre-back? Right, is it Reece Williams and Nat Phillips? It most likely has to be that, because you have to play Fabinho in that number 6 role. So the back five, Alisson in goal, Robertson left back, Trent Alexander-Arnold right back, Centre-backs Kabak and Reece Williams, and then CDM Fabinho. The midfield, I go with James Milner, who's in great form, by the way, and Thiago, who's also in great form, by the way. Didn't think he had the most exceptional games against Southampton, but still, got a goal, been playing well games prior to that, and also there were still moments in that game that you can take positively. And James Milner adds that leadership, that experience, that level head that you're going to need in a big game against your rivals in Man United. And who hates Man United more than a player who has been playing for Man City and Liverpool? James Milner. He hates Man United. Get him in this game. And then the front three, you go with Mane. He's just scored a goal. I'm not on that. Where's Mini Mane, man? Where are you, Mini? I can't find Mini Mane. Oh, where's Mini Mane? Shit. Just dropped Mini Salah. But Mini Mane, the GOAT. He starts. You give him momentum, you know. You can start Jota as well if you want. But I'd say Mane. And use Jota as a sort of impact sub. I think he'd have a much more bigger influence on the team if you use him that way. Mane starts, Firmino starts, and Salah starts. That's the front three. Let me know in the comments down below whether you agree or disagree with my lineup. But people, that is the end of today's Redmond Roundup. If you did enjoy, smash a like and subscribe if you haven't already, but only if you enjoyed the video. If you don't like these videos, I don't expect you to just like and subscribe. Only if you enjoy, then do so. I love every single one of you, user or belter. And before I wrap up this video, as if I was going to forget this, I have got a little clip to show you from 888 Sport on a little discussion from the boys.
What player has caught your eye? What player deserves to win the auspicious accolade of Player of the Year? For me, there are a few contenders, but I actually think there's one obvious winner. So I think we should start with the also rans. I'm therefore going to go to Flex and put Bruno Fernandes forward.
Don't try and talk to me about Bruno Fernandes now. Not interested. Well, not interested.
Bruno? Rory, you seem to have changed your tune. You seem to have changed your tune, Rory. What's going on?
No, I said he's an also ran. So we get rid of the people that are contenders before we announce the actual winner, which is obviously
So the full video is over on 888 Sport. Top link in the description if you want to go and see the full discussion. Boys, girls, thank you for watching this video. Hopefully you enjoyed. More content coming out tomorrow. Keep an eye out on the channel, and I will see you all later. Come on, you Reds.